Calgary, June of 2013.
The water is up to the second story into the house.
Okay, what's your address? The address of the emergency?
As the Bow and Elbow rivers overflow their banks, emergency plans kick in.
We had people sleeping in our offices here. They came in from everywhere. They knew there was a situation going on, including management. We had food delivered here. People were just round the clock on it.
Communications were difficult, confusion rampant. Through all the turmoil, one Calgary company was able to lead the way through the confusion and help workers across the city.
People were scared and desperate, didn't know what to do, didn't know if they should go into work, didn't know if there would be a building to go into. So I wanted to make sure that we threw together a really good game plan so that the agents felt comfortable and confident.
With constantly changing information, new instructions, and so many client workers to contact, keeping everyone calm and informed was a priority.
When the Calgary flood happened, I was a province away in our BC office. Nonetheless, I could feel the urgency. Everyone at that BC office was, like our Calgary colleagues here, doing double shifts.
When I saw our people manning all the phones, round the clock, helping everybody in Calgary, I was so proud.
It takes guts to achieve glory. Drive, determination, and the courage to take risks when no one else will. Innovators, trailblazers, and pioneers of industry don't hear the naysayers. Their heads are in the game, even when the playing field doesn't exist. They have the focus to keep their eyes on the prize, the steadfast belief in the dream, and the willpower to make it happen. These are the entrepreneurs.
When the unexpected happens, lives can be at stake. This week, we examine the question of how a company can grow beyond business and become an essential service. Call centers are a highly specialized service that many companies now use, especially for help in dangerous situations. One of these call centers is the award-winning Surecall, a Calgary-based company who played a critical role in the flood.
The people who were calling in were most concerned about if they would have a building to go back into, what kind of property damage would be done. These were individuals and corporations that could be experiencing property damage within millions of dollars.
During the flood, the city's downtown core was completely shut down. People were cut off from their homes and places of work. Communications were disrupted. So when a surprise disaster happens, keeping workers informed is critical for their safety.
And took everybody by surprise. We're up here in a nice high spot looking down at the city of Calgary, which is now underwater. Our customers' phones are going off the hook because their clients are calling in, not realizing that anything's going on and they can't be reached.
With so many unknown and hidden dangers, workers were stranded and confused, not knowing whether to attempt a trip to work downtown or stay and try to work from home.
So what we were able to do was to give them that peace of mind. We were a live voice on the other end of the phone, being as empathetic as possible.
The live voices of the call center agents were put to the test, locating workers and reassuring those who were phoning in, many in distress.
It was a tense situation, but the camaraderie was there, the dedication to our clients was there, and again, I felt like I was present here for the Calgary floods, even though I was a province away.
When I think back to the flood, definitely the thing that stands out the most to me is the level of urgency that the agents were prepared for in the emergency situations that they handled and how they coordinated.
The most important part of the job I do is to help keep our clients' workers safe. A lot of them work in remote areas or hazardous locations, and it's our job to check in on them. If they don't check in, we have escalation procedures to make sure that they are looked after.
By Surecall stepping in and helping their employees, it enabled our clients to be able to focus on getting their operations back up and running more effectively.
Helping companies and their workers with communications in an emergency situation is a business that has grown worldwide.
Surecall's core business is being frontline for oil and gas companies, handling their phone calls, dealing with lone worker safety and security, and emergency lines.
Many people don't realize that in the oil and gas industry, a lot of their workers are up north alone and they have no other contact except through a call center service where they can speak to another human being and let them know that they're okay.
Whether it's remote or whether it's within city, we also do on-site monitoring of wells, so whether there's explosions or gas leaks and concerned citizens, we fill that gap for the companies within the energy industry to ensure the safety of the residents as well as their workers. We bring the human back into human resources. We bring the safety back to the employees.
While serving the energy sector has been an important role for call centers, companies are taking advantage of innovations to expand into other areas that might surprise you.
Surecall started as a call center for oil and gas, but we've been able to diversify into several other industries. You may be ordering a pizza, you may be calling for a lawyer or dealing with a real estate agent.
We're looking after IT, we're looking after restaurant, order processing.
And the reason for that is because all of these industries are looking for consistency with their call handling.
As a business manager for the Northern Alberta corporate office, I work with 64 local franchisees of the Boston Pizza in Northern Alberta to harvest this synergy to do what we can do best with working with our guests, give them the best possible experience. We've been providing take-home delivery for a long time now, and it's just ramping up in popularity. More and more people love our food and want it in the convenience of their own home. Our servers at the restaurant, they were tied between two things, focusing on the guest that's in the restaurant and also focusing on the guest that's at home trying to place an order for their family. We wanted to make sure both guests got equal and positive treatment every single time. And that's where Surecall came in. Surecall has helped develop a custom solution for the front end of the customer service for our take-home delivery customers.
They do deal with a lot of high volume calls, especially during dinner rush and times like that, and not having people have to go to the phone to take calls. So what happens is the customer phones in as they would be placing an order normally. That call then comes to us here in the call center, and then that order is sent off to the location, and then that store would make their order and either deliver it or we have it ready for pickup when they request.
So we know our take-home delivery customers are handled consistently and professionally every time. And for a company that's born and raised in Alberta, it was important for us to have our jobs in Alberta. And Surecall has provided that for us, which is amazing.
We eat a lot of Boston pizza.
It's so amazing to work with so many owners that live near their restaurants and they're part of the community.
Restaurant, order processing, all types of avenues where people are realizing their core business is what they do best, and having us handle their calls is what we do best.
During the Calgary flood of 2013, the Surecall call center earned a reputation for providing dependable, reliable, 24/7 emergency communications to workers. With many of their client company employees literally stranded, getting out clear and accurate instructions to keep workers safe and calm was a priority for everyone.
The reason I think we handled the flood crisis well was because the agents had experience with other emergency style calls, and they were able to help individuals out.
In an emergency, I think the biggest part of what we do is identifying whether it is or is not an emergency as it's classified, and how specifically those situations would be handled.
So my instructions to agents is you need to respond to them right away. There can be no delay. Their life depends on you being there when they need you.
In the energy sector, workers explore and work in remote locations. The workers are often alone and isolated, with the only link for help a satellite phone or alarm sensor.
I remember there was an emergency situation in northern Alberta, a remote area, where a quad had rolled over, and because the lone worker's sensor did not go off, we responded to that for the lack of the signal and were able to intervene and get in touch with the correct people and saved his life.
But it's not just accidents that Surecall agents have to deal with. Fire, hailstorms, windstorms, blizzards, tornadoes. These are just some of the unexpected emergencies that agents have to handle. But on May 1, 2016, they're thrown a challenge that pushed the company to the limit. Fort McMurray was struck by the largest and most destructive forest fire in Canadian history,
Fort McMurray's on fire.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How bad is it?
It's really huge.
threatening businesses, employees, friends, and family. In 24 hours, Surecall's team set up a communications hub, acting as an additional support for businesses, emergency response units, and private individuals.
We have an emergency. Fort McMurray is on fire. We're going to have to put together an emergency response line for the Red Cross and Alberta Economic Development.
I'll pull together a team of people who can help us with the additional volume that we're going to need to help these people.
Perfect.
I'll get together a list of contact information in different companies so we can reach out to all the people that need our help.
All right, that's great.
It is in moments like these, companies find themselves acting less like a business and more like an essential service.
Definitely.
Okay, I know there's a lot of pressure on us to get this done, but we can do it. These guys need our help.
Yeah, just one more question. Are we able to bring in additional facilities to handle all the calls that are going to be coming in from Fort McMurray?
Yeah, I believe Karen's already started working on that, but it is going to be tight.
They have it all with them, and we're working on getting everything ready to go.
Okay, you guys ready to do this?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
All right, let's go, guys.
It's this building of a tight-knit, highly trained team that builds loyalty, not only among clients, but within the company as well. But in this competitive marketplace, a company needs something extra to have those employees stay, continue to be part of the company, and have a long-term career.
Loyalty is a key factor in our company. The engagement of our employees, the service that we provide to our partners, it's essential. And the loyalty comes with the work that we put in.
This is one of the first jobs I've had that I really loved. It demands versatility, it demands focus, but it's also ultimately very satisfying, given the high priority or urgent needs of some of the work that we do.
I also believe that you have to earn loyalty. And just as much as we have to earn the loyalty of our staff really work hard in order to show us that they're loyal and committed to everything that we do here at Surecall.
What I look for in my agents is someone with a great attitude, someone who's very versatile, someone who's very resilient. There are times when you have to bounce back, and someone who is very keen to learn new things.
Building a successful company requires an entrepreneurial spirit and imagination, and company co-founder Marc Bombenon has both.
I grew up in Montreal watching Star Trek. What a great show. And I loved everything about it, the technology, but the thing I loved the most about it was the communications. That just inspired me. And one day I had an opportunity that presented itself to me to come to Calgary, to start a paging company here, and to really expand in this market where it wasn't expanded before. So once we started paging in Calgary, the market just took off. We grew exponentially, and out of that grows this small opportunity to do call center. Back then, it was dispatching to people's alphanumeric pagers. We had to have agents type out the messages and get them to them. Well, our clients are getting their messages on their pagers and going, well, you're answering calls for our pagers. Can you answer calls for our company and take messages for us? So that's how Surecall started.
The call center market has evolved from landlines to new applications for social media. Call center growth has steadily grown to over 100 million users by 2017, and growth is worldwide, with North America leading the way in total user hours. And over 84% of companies using a call center say they will expand in the future. Recent surveys have shown that business usage grows from 9% in the first year to 15% in the second to over 98% in the third year. This shows once again how an Alberta company with a great idea can connect with a worldwide market. Keeping workers safe, informed, and calm is critical for companies when unexpected disasters like the Calgary flood strike. But call centers can be used for everything from worker safety to customer relations. That's where companies like Surecall comes in, tapping new markets by providing that missing link between businesses and their customers. But like all industries, there are technical innovation and new directions to try and services to offer.
There's been a lot of change in the call industry. I think competition is getting a lot heavier as we go through because all the small businesses are being purchased by larger ones, and you have to compete in terms of quality and the services that we offer.
New technologies are reducing call wait times, better directing calls to the right people, ultimately trying to give better service. And keeping a reputation for great service means having great agents. And that means big change in the way people work.
We've led that change through new technologies and innovations, and by getting our workforce outside of the office. We have people now working from home in different time zones, different parts of the country, which helps us to adapt with all of the different elements with weather and everything else. Plus it gives them the freedom and flexibility of their time and their hours.
Previously, there was a lot of very basic services, name, number, messages being passed on, and it's expanded now to, the possibilities of anything.
And anything is what can happen, any day, anytime, and anywhere.
I remember when I was an agent, there was a life and death situation with a ship out on the ocean who was in distress. They had an emergency on board, and what was important for me was really listening to that caller and making sure that I was very clear on what was wrong. Can better help them when we're very clear on what they need and get that information to the right person.
Call center agents carry a heavy load. Having smart, knowledgeable, and quick-thinking people is the difference between business success and failure. And sometimes, life and death.
We need to have the very best employees. In order for us to do that, the hiring process takes 3 weeks, where we do the initial interview and we do a pre-screening as well as pre-training. We introduce them to the company before we even bring them on. Essentially, we're looking for those employees that are going to be long-standing employees, welcoming them to our family that we've created here at Surecall. They need to be able to handle emergencies on the fly. They need to be able to make decisions on their own and have a great personality.
Because we offer a range of service in multiple industries, so at one moment you could have a client calling from one industry and then you are shifting into a completely different industry in the next call within a matter of 5 minutes.
It's great. We work with a lot of great people from all different kinds of backgrounds, and everyone comes together collectively to work as a team. There's a really great spirit, great morale around here. A lot of team building things that happen as well to keep everybody, close-knit and happy. So it's like a small family, basically. It's nice.
Surecall is a family-owned and operated business with many long-time loyal employees focused on helping others. How a company develops its relationships can take many forms, and for Desiree and Marc, this means reaching out to support charities and foundations like the Studio Bell Center for Music in downtown Calgary.
We're here at Studio Bell in the main performance hall, and this is the Desiree and Marc Bombenon Center balcony. They named this balcony back in 2011. It was one of our very first gifts to the Capital campaign. It's a demonstration of their commitment to community, and it really demonstrates their commitment to giving back, to supporting the arts, and to investing in Calgary's future. They have been there with us, supporting us corporately in many ways through some of our gala events, as well as with great advice and business leadership opportunities.
But sometimes, a company has to face their own difficult situations.
One of the projects I'm most proud of at Surecall is when we developed and designed the Crystal Hair Award. Crystal Hair was an employee who worked for us for a number of years, and she unfortunately passed away at the young age of 31 with cancer. We were able to create our Employee of the Year Award after Crystal, and each year we present our employee with the award and a donation to the Alberta Cancer Foundation on her behalf.
What drives entrepreneurs today to be better is competition. In a world of corporate mergers and takeovers, that might make it difficult for a family-owned company like Surecall to compete. But it's been exactly the opposite. Being a family business has made all the difference according to the employees. And ask any corporate CEO or small business owner, nothing competes without great employees.
Working for a family-owned company essentially makes me feel like I'm a part of the family, which creates almost like it's almost like it's my company, and that is a great feeling coming into work.
Working with a family business is very rewarding for me.
I've learned a tremendous amount from her. and hopefully I've been able to lend some learnings and mentorship to her as well.
Working for mom and dad, definitely pros and cons. However, very successful. I've gained a lot of experience through them, had a ton of opportunity to learn through other educational programs as a result of it.
Family, loyalty, and caring. These qualities have earned the company and its team an array of awards, citations, and honors. A partial tribute to a legacy of success over 30 years for the founders.
You can feel that entrepreneurial spirit in Surecall still. They will learn and they will deliver at 110%.
When I think back over the 30 years, there are a lot of moments that I've been really proud of. But the one in particular was during that flood. When we had everybody in here, every phone we had was manned. People were working diligently through grabbing pizza and continuing to work, and they didn't have to, they wanted to. And I was so proud of all of our staff for doing that. It just showed that Calgary spirit.
That Calgary spirit of rising to challenges, responding to crises, helping others. These are the core values the next up-and-coming generation will need to be great entrepreneurs.
For someone young starting out today, I have two pieces of advice. The key things for me from my learnings are persistence. Get into something you're passionate about and stay with it. It's tough and you hit walls from time to time. You just find a way to get around them, over them, or through them.
And I would add a sense of belief in yourself. You need to really instill that sense of belief that anything is possible, because it truly is. If you have a goal, a vision, a dream, and you really believe in yourself, that will happen for you.